Well, aren't you a high and mighty daughter-in-law? I'd love to know what kind of tricks you use to lure our son into this marriage. You're a woman who can barely keep a household together, and he never should have married you in the first place. And I'll have you know, my son has been saying the same thing. He's not happy at all. Maybe it's time you did everyone a favor and hurried up with a divorce.
Bethany, are you really saying that's how your son feels? That he's unhappy with me? That's a cruel thing to hear from him after all the work I've put into keeping this family going. Between the two of us, I'd have to say it's him who would be completely lost without me. If I weren't here to handle things, he wouldn't even manage his basic daily life.
Oh, listen to what this defective product is spouting off now. Does she actually think she's crucial to our son's life? Oh, how laughable.
Defective product? Are you actually calling me that?
Yes, who else? You've been married to my son for how long now, and yet you can't even give him a single child. Waiting around all this time, hoping for some grandchild, and you've delivered nothing. Honestly, are you capable of getting anything right? I don't think it's too much to ask for you to fulfill at least the most basic expectations as a wife. You're completely failing us.
Is this really what you want to discuss again? If that's how you feel, then let me ask something. Would you consider moving out? I mean, think about it. With you and your husband sleeping in the room right next to ours, it's really not an environment that encourages intimacy or family planning. It's hard to feel comfortable or even think about having children when we don't have the space to ourselves.
Oh, don't flatter yourself. Do you really think we're so nosy as to eavesdrop on you? Just how self-absorbed can you be? Seriously, the attitude you have, I'm starting to wonder if that illness you claimed to suffer from in the past was actually a mental condition. Were you ever properly diagnosed?
No, it was a real illness. Nothing like that. Why would you even say something so hurtful? Look, you say you want grandchildren, so wouldn't you want to try being a bit supportive for once? My husband and I both work long hours, and frankly, most days we're simply too exhausted to even think about intimacy. And I've been constantly hearing complaints that I'm supposed to handle all the household chores by myself. Given all of that, how do you expect me to feel motivated or prepared to start a family?
Oh, and that's supposed to be my problem? Really?
I'm sorry, what?
You're working because you wanted to work, right? They're letting you go off and pursue your so-called career out of generosity. It's only out of their kindness that you're even allowed to work outside the home. You should be dedicating yourself fully to household duties. You insisted on being a working woman, so the least you could do is feel some remorse for not being able to fulfill your role as a proper wife.
I don't know what you're talking about. We're not living in the past anymore. Times have changed and women work now. Besides, if I stopped working, how do you expect us to afford living here? My income is what helps support this household. Without it, what's your plan for maintaining everything? Or do you just expect money to appear?
Oh, really? I can't believe how self-important you think you are. You honestly believe that you're holding this household together, don't you? Well, even if you weren't here, I would manage just fine. I can cook, clean, and do everything myself. I am, after all, a stay-at-home wife with years of experience. Don't kid yourself. This household could easily function without you.
If that's how you feel, then by all means, start doing it right now. You're the only one in this house who isn't working, so why is it that you don't handle any of the housework?
Because that's a wife's job. I've done my time. I've earned the right to rest. Now you're the daughter-in-law. You should be the one to take over these responsibilities. It's the natural order of things in this family, and that's how it's going to stay.
It seems more like it's convenient for you, doesn't it? Anyway, I don't think this is the right time to keep discussing it. Let's talk more directly about this another time. I have work to finish, and I need to go shopping afterward. Do you have any requests for dinner tonight?
Dinner with you? No thanks. I'd rather lose my appetite than sit down for a meal with you. We'll be dining out tonight, so don't bother.
I see. All right. If that's what you want. I just noticed that all of your things are gone. Did you move out? Could you please explain what's going on here?
It's quite simple. Both my son and I can't stand you anymore, so we moved out. We're starting a new life, a new chapter, one without you in it. Let me tell you, it's such a relief to finally be rid of this worthless daughter-in-law. Things are already better without you in the picture.
Wait, are you actually serious about this? So there's this divorce document here with a signature already on it. Does that mean I'm free to sign it and finalize everything?
Yes, that's exactly what it means. Go ahead and sign. Everyone is fully in agreement. The sooner, the better.
Very well then. If that's what you all want, I'll divorce my husband who makes a mere $8 an hour. Doesn't seem like I'll be missing out on much.
Is that really what you're going to leave me with? A final jab? Oh, you truly are pathetic. Go ahead and give it your best shot if you even have it in you. But let's be real, you're not getting any younger, and with your past illness affecting you like it does, not to mention your basic lack of household skills, do you actually think you'll ever find another husband?
So the entire time you thought I couldn't do housework because of my illness? You thought I was incompetent because of my health issues?
If it's not your illness, then it's pure laziness. That's the only other option. Imagine trying to push housework onto your husband. Oh, it's disgraceful. In this family, such excuses don't fly.
I see. All right. I understand your feelings perfectly now. In that case, I'll proceed with the divorce. Goodbye.
Hey, Juna. I'm so sorry I couldn't pick up your call yesterday. I just noticed the missed call. Did something happen? Is everything okay?
Oh, no worries at all. Actually, yeah, something happened. I got divorced.
Wait, what? Are you serious? You got divorced? I mean, that's totally unexpected. I thought things were still stable enough between you two. This just came out of nowhere, like way too fast. It's like everything took a sudden turn. This definitely wasn't what we'd expected would happen. What on earth led to this?
I know. Sorry for springing it on you so suddenly. Believe me, it was a huge twist for me too. Even now, I'm still trying to wrap my head around everything. But you know what? Yesterday, when it was all said and done, I actually felt a strange sense of relief. I mean, I didn't think I would feel that way, but I felt so light, like a weight was lifted off my shoulders. So I couldn't help it. I had to call you and tell you. I guess I just needed to share it with someone who would understand.
I get it. I totally do. I mean, that makes sense. But you're sure you're okay? I mean, don't you think it was maybe a bit too soon to go through with something so major? Are you sure this was the right time?
Yeah, I'm okay. It's actually a huge relief. I've got things under control and I'm feeling more ready than I ever thought I would be.
Oh, that's really good to hear. I was a little worried. Did his mom say something to you again? Was she giving you more grief? I wouldn't put it past her.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what it was. He's been nagging at me for so long now, always saying things about how I haven't had kids yet and how I'm the one to blame for that. She's convinced that the fact I'm still working is entirely for selfish reasons. That I'm putting my career first when really, she's the one who's been insisting on things being a certain way. She even blames me for not being able to conceive. And then, get this, she went as far as saying that the reason I had health issues before was probably because of some mental illness.
Are you kidding me? She seriously said that? All of it's complete nonsense. None of what she's saying even has any basis in reality. I mean, how could she just make all that up? She's acting like everything is your fault when she doesn't know the first thing about what's actually going on. And after all that, you went through with the divorce?
Well, actually, they just left a signed divorce paper on the table without even talking to me about it. So I added my signature and submitted it. It felt strangely satisfying, like turning the page on a whole chapter of my life.
You're kidding.
Nope. They even packed up their things and moved out on their own. I didn't have to do anything. It was like they made it so easy for me. They just left like they'd never been there. And honestly, I'm relieved. No mess, no more nagging, just a quiet space to finally breathe in.
Wow, I can't believe it. I know you've worked so hard. You've been doing so much for that family, giving everything you had to make it work. You were even working so hard at your job, pushing yourself, all with the goal of one day having kids and being able to provide them with a stable, loving home. You even built up your own business, making sure it could support you and a family, and you succeeded. You've given so much to make that vision come to life. And after all that effort, for them to say these things and leave, it's heartbreaking. You deserve so much better.
Thank you so much. That means a lot to me. But honestly, I couldn't care less about what they think of me now. They didn't want to see my side of things or understand why I worked so hard. They just wanted to judge and control me. I'm just relieved it's done. And honestly, if I'd stayed any longer, they would have drained me dry. I can't let people like that keep taking from me without giving back. I don't have to justify my choices to them. I'm just glad they don't know the full details of my life now. They don't deserve to, and I'm free to live how I want without them hovering over me.
You're probably right. They'd only take advantage if they knew more. But I just can't believe his mom. She completely believes her son is perfect and blames you for everything, without ever seeing that he's done plenty of things wrong too. It's so ridiculous how blind she is to reality. But hey, they won't be able to be so smug forever. Sooner or later, they'll have to face the truth.
Exactly. Their time will come. Sooner or later, I have a feeling they'll reach out again. And when they do, I'll be more than ready for them. I'm already preparing for that day. And in the meantime, I'm just going to focus on myself and what I want. I have dreams I want to achieve. And now that I'm free from them, I can finally put all my energy into making those dreams a reality. It feels like a fresh start, and I can't wait to see where it leads me.
That's incredible. I'm so happy for you. And of course, you know I'm here to help. You've supported me through so much, and I'd love to be there for you in any way I can. If there's anything you need, just let me know, and I'll be there.
Thank you so much. Really. Knowing you're there for me means the world. I'm going to focus on myself and live life to the fullest. And as for them, well, they can live with the consequences of their own choices. They'll regret how they treated me eventually, but I'm done waiting around for that to happen.
Juno, what's going on? That kid's hourly wage, it was really only $8?
I told you. I warned you, didn't I? I've been saying it over and over, but you wouldn't listen. I knew it would end like this. I could see it all coming, but you were just too comfortable in your little world to see it. How many times do I have to say it? How many times do I have to scream it before it gets through to you? I was right. I've been right all along, and now look where we are. You thought I was being paranoid or dramatic, but here we are, staring at the wreckage of it all. It's all crumbling down just like I said it would.
But I thought you were just misunderstanding things. We've never had trouble with finances before, right? So I figured his wage couldn't possibly be as low as that. We've been okay until now.
Oh, you thought everything was fine just because we never had issues before? You thought it would always be that way, didn't you? You've been living in denial, refusing to face the truth. But here's the thing you don't get. You think that because things have not exploded yet, we're in the clear. That's just naive. I've been telling you, warning you, and now that it's come crashing down, you're still acting surprised. I've been carrying the load all this time, shouldering the burden of making sure everything stayed in place, but you couldn't even see the cracks forming. You refused to. You were too busy in your own little world thinking it would all work out.
I didn't think it was this bad. I really didn't. I trusted that we could handle whatever came our way. I thought that you were exaggerating, but now, seeing it and hearing it, I can't believe it. I really thought we were fine.
I don't know why I'm surprised. I've been saying this for years, and you've just been blind to it. You wanted to believe everything was okay, so you kept pretending it was. But we were never fine. How could we be when you wouldn't even look at the truth? You just kept avoiding it, thinking it would go away on its own, thinking it would fix itself without anyone doing anything. But I can't live like that anymore. I can't keep pretending everything's fine when it's falling apart right in front of us.
But we've been through so much together. Oh, this isn't like you. Why are you doing this now? Why are you shutting me out now? June, we've faced worse, haven't we? Why would you just give up on us now?
It's not about giving up. It's not about abandoning you. It's about realizing that we've been stuck in a cycle. A cycle where I carry everything, and you just stand there hoping I'll make it all better. I can't do that anymore. I've been holding it together for far too long, but now I'm tired. I'm so tired of pretending that this works, because it doesn't. It never has. You don't understand. You think it's just about fixing things with words or promises, but it's not that simple. You can't fix years of neglect and apathy with a few apologies.
I've never wanted to neglect you. Never. I've always tried to do my best. I know I've made mistakes, but I do appreciate everything you've done for us. I didn't see how much you were carrying. I didn't realize how much it hurt you. I never thought you were struggling this much. I never saw the toll it was taking on you.
You never saw it because you didn't want to. You didn't want to see how much I was hurting because if you did, you'd have to face it. You'd have to face that I've been drowning for so long, and I couldn't keep going like this. But instead, you just kept going on thinking everything was fine. I've been suffocating under the weight of everything. I've been trying to carry it all for us, but no one ever asked if I was okay. No one ever asked if I was breaking. I've been trying to make sure you're comfortable, that everything runs smoothly, but it's been eating me alive and you didn't see it.
But now, it's all too much? Now you're telling me you're done? June, please, I don't want to lose you. I've messed up, I know, but I can fix this. I can do better. Just don't give up on me now. Don't give up on us.
It's not about fixing it, though. You're still thinking this is something you can fix, but it's not. It's not about making it better. It's about the fact that I've been carrying everything for so long. I've been the one picking up the pieces, making sure everyone else is okay while I fell apart. I've tried to make it work, but you can't make something work when one person is doing all the work, and it's exhausting. I'm not asking you to fix it. I'm asking you to understand that I can't keep doing this for you anymore. I'm asking you to see that I have my own needs, my own pain, and it's time for me to live for myself for once.
I didn't realize I was taking you for granted. I always thought you were strong. I never saw how much you were suffering under the surface. You've been doing everything, and I've just been letting you. I should have noticed. I should have seen how much you needed help, how much you needed support, too. But I didn't. I was so wrapped up in my own problems that I didn't see what you were going through.
I've been telling you. For years, I've been telling you that I couldn't keep doing it all, but you kept thinking I could. You thought you could keep depending on me, keep telling me to take the weight of everything. I thought you'd see it. I thought you'd realize eventually. But you didn't. And now I'm tired. I'm tired of waiting for you to wake up. I'm not angry. I'm not even disappointed anymore. I'm just done. I've given everything I could. I can't give anymore. And it's time for me to stop.
Please don't leave me. I've been a fool. I can't change the past, but I swear to you, I can change now. I can try harder. I won't make the same mistakes. I promise to be there for you, Juna. Please don't walk away. Not like this. Not after everything we've been through.
You keep saying you'll change, but you don't understand. It's not about promises anymore. It's about seeing the truth. You never saw it. You never saw the depth of what I've been carrying, and now it's too late. I can't keep living in the shadow of everyone else's needs. I have my own life to live, and I can't keep waiting for you to notice me. I've waited long enough.
What does that mean, though? If you're saying it's over, then where does that leave us? Where do I go from here?
I don't know, but I do know that I can't keep pretending anymore. I've been waiting for you to change, but I can't wait any longer. It's time for me to live for myself. I have to stop being the one who holds everything together. And you have to learn to stand on your own without me. As expected, I was left speechless, unable to come up with a response. Bethany, after this moment, came to me with the intention of apologizing directly. She asked if she could do so, but of course, I rejected her request right away. It wasn't that I was being petty or trying to make her feel worse, but honestly, after everything that had happened, I just couldn't bring myself to accept an apology from her. Her actions had hurt me deeply, and I had made peace with the situation long ago. She had taken things too far, and for all the time she had wronged me, a simple apology couldn't fix the damage. I stood there, my arms crossed, watching her expectantly, waiting for her to understand why her apology meant nothing to me anymore. The nerve of her, really. After everything she had done, after all the trust she had shattered, now she wanted to make things right? It was too little, too late. Do you really think an apology can change anything? I asked, trying to keep my voice steady, despite the emotions swirling inside me. It wasn't about being rude or cruel, but the truth had to come out. You've hurt me, and now you expect me to just forget about it because you want to apologize? Bethany's face fell, but it didn't soften. She was standing in front of me, her eyes searching mine for a sign of forgiveness, but I couldn't give her that. Not now. Not after everything. There were too many broken pieces between us, and they couldn't be pieced together with mere words. She had betrayed my trust in ways I didn't think possible. The things she had said, the promises she had broken, and all the damage she had caused. No apology could erase that. I'd spent so much time working through the hurt, learning to move on, and now she thought a few words would fix it all? I don't need your apology, I said firmly. What I needed from you was something more than words. I needed you to be honest. I needed you to care. And most of all, I needed you to stop hurting me. Bethany stood there, silent for a long time. Her lips quivered, but she didn't try to speak again. Maybe she realized that there was nothing she could say to change my mind. Maybe she knew that the damage was irreversible. I wasn't the same person I had been when this all started. I had grown, I had healed, and I had come to understand that some people just aren't meant to be part of your life, no matter how much they claim they regret their actions. And Bethany, she was one of those people. I'm sorry, but I can't just forgive you, I added, my voice softer now, though still resolute. I've already let go of the past, and it's not something I want to revisit anymore. Bethany's shoulders slumped, and she nodded slowly. There was nothing left to say. She had wanted to make things right, but the truth was, there were things that couldn't be fixed with an apology, and I had accepted that. With that, I turned away, knowing that I had made the right decision. It wasn't about holding grudges. It was about self-respect, about protecting myself from further harm. And while Bethany might have wanted to apologize, I knew deep down that accepting it wouldn't change anything. It was time to move on. I didn't want to waste any more time with these people. It had become clear to me that continuing down this path would only bring more frustration and hurt. So, I made the decision to take action. I wasn't going to let myself be tangled in their drama or stuck in the mess they had created. Through a lawyer, I swiftly moved forward with demanding compensation for the emotional damage I had suffered. The legal process wasn't something I had wanted to deal with, but it was the only way to make them understand the seriousness of what had happened. I wasn't asking for sympathy or trying to get some sort of closure through their words. I had made peace with the fact that no apology could ever erase the hurt they had caused. What I wanted, what I deserved, was compensation for the pain, the time, and the energy I had wasted on people who clearly had no regard for me. It wasn't just about the money either. It was about reclaiming control over my life. About drawing a clear line and saying that I could no longer allow them to dictate my happiness or peace of mind. Every day I had spent in that toxic environment, every minute I had wasted trying to salvage something that couldn't be fixed, it had taken a toll on me. But now I was done. The weight had lifted once I made that decision. I remember sitting in my lawyer's office finalizing everything. There was a sense of empowerment in that moment. I wasn't just letting things slide anymore. I was actively taking back what was mine. The lawyer explained the next steps, but I wasn't really listening anymore. I had made up my mind. This was my chance to cut the ties, to make sure I would never be dragged into their chaos again. After all, I had more important things to focus on. things that actually mattered. I needed to get my life back on track, to heal and move forward. I wasn't going to let these people, who had already taken so much from me, continue to have any influence over my future. It was time to take control, to build a life that I could be proud of. A life where I wasn't constantly looking over my shoulder or waiting for another blow to hit. I couldn't deny the sense of relief I felt when I signed those papers. It was like closing a door in a chapter of my life that had dragged on far too long. I had been patient, I had been understanding, but no more. Now I was ready to move on, and nothing was going to stop me from taking the necessary steps to do so. With that decision, I felt as though I had finally freed myself from their hold. I knew I would face challenges ahead, of course. Life is rarely simple, but this was different. This time, I was doing it on my terms. I wasn't waiting for them to decide my fate, or for them to offer me their half-hearted apologies. I had taken the first step in taking back my life, and from there, I knew I would be okay. In the end, I realized that reclaiming my life wasn't just about what they owed me. It was about standing up for myself, about demanding the respect and dignity I deserved. And from that point on, nothing could take that away from me. I heard that my ex-husband got completely enraged by her husband and that there was quite an altercation between the two of them. But frankly, what happened after that doesn't concern me at all, and I have absolutely no interest in it. To be honest, I wasn't even surprised. My ex-husband had always had a temper, and with everything that had been going on, it was only a matter of time before he clashed with someone else. It was just his nature. He couldn't handle conflict in a calm, rational way. Everything had to explode. So when I heard about this confrontation, I couldn't help but feel a sense of indifference. It was just another chapter in this never-ending drama. But as much as I might have expected it, I didn't feel any satisfaction or relief from hearing about the fight. It wasn't a victory for me, nor was it a sign that things were evening out. I had long since moved on, and the petty disputes between him and her husband did not concern me anymore. If anything, it just seemed like a continuation of the same toxic patterns that had defined their lives. In the past, I might have cared about their struggles or about what was happening between them. I might have gotten caught up in the details, wondering how everything would play out or if things would get worse. But now I couldn't care less. I had my own life to live, my own path to walk, and I was no longer invested in their endless problems. I had my own healing to focus on, and the drama of their lives had no place in mine anymore. The reality was, their issues were theirs to deal with, not mine. And the more I distanced myself from their chaos, the clearer it became that I was better off. I had spent so much time in the past trying to make sense of their decisions, their mistakes, and trying to fix things that were never meant to be fixed. But I had learned that some things are better left alone, and some people are better left behind. So, while I could have easily asked about the altercation or tried to dig into the details out of curiosity, I didn't. I knew that it wouldn't change anything, and it wouldn't make me feel any better. The more I pulled back from their drama, the more I realized just how irrelevant it was to my life now. They could fight, they could argue, they could tear each other apart if they wanted to, but it wasn't my problem anymore. I had enough of my own life to rebuild, enough challenges ahead of me to focus on, and I wasn't going to let their issues drag me back into a past that was already behind me. In the end, the only thing that mattered was my peace of mind. What happened between my ex-husband and his mom had no impact on my future, and I wasn't going to waste my time or energy thinking about it. I had long moved past all of that. To be honest, I really hope that this worthless family will face the kind of hardship they truly deserve in the future, and that they will experience the hell they've caused others to live through. I don't say this out of malice, but because I believe they need to understand the full scope of the damage they've done. They've lived their lives without facing the consequences of their actions, without truly comprehending what it's like to hurt others. So, deep down, I hope that life will show them just how much suffering they have put people through, and that they will finally know the weight of their decisions. It's not even about wishing anything extreme to happen to them. It's not about them suffering in ways that are cruel or unfair. I don't wish them physical harm or anything like that. What I truly want, and what I feel they need, is for them to face the struggles they've been running from for so long. To feel the isolation, the guilt, the confusion, and the regret that comes with the kinds of actions they've taken. I want them to experience the consequences of their behaviors in a way that forces them to reflect on everything they've done. To finally understand the emotional toll they've put on the people who once cared about them. The hardest part, though, is that these people have never known true struggle. They've lived in a bubble of privilege, thinking they can get away with anything. They've taken advantage of others without batting an eyelash, believing they're above reproach. They've pushed boundaries, broken promises, and torn apart relationships without any care for the aftermath. They've lived in this little world where their actions have never come back to haunt them. But deep down, I know that no one can keep running forever. Life has a way of evening the score, and one day it will catch up with them. I've spent far too many years caught in their web of lies and manipulation, desperately trying to understand them and make sense of their behavior. Every attempt to reason with them was met with more games, more deceit, and more empty words. I wanted to believe that things could be different, that they could change, but I came to realize that they weren't interested in change. They weren't interested in self-improvement or learning from their mistakes. They were just interested in keeping up the facade, in maintaining their false sense of control. And so, I decided I couldn't be a part of that anymore. I had to detach myself, not because I wanted revenge, but because I had to protect my own peace. I couldn't keep investing energy into people who weren't worth it. They weren't worth the time, the effort, or the emotional investment. I had to put myself first. But even after I walked away, it didn't stop the bitterness from lingering. It didn't stop the feeling that they needed to face the consequences of their actions. In the past, I might have tried to understand them, tried to find a way to reason with them. I might have tried to sympathize with their struggles, but I had to let go of that. They had shown me who they were too many times, and the truth is, I'm tired of their games. I don't want to be a part of their endless cycle of mistakes and empty apologies. So now, I don't feel the need to justify myself to them or try to explain why I feel the way I do. The truth is simple. I want them to face the consequences of the mess they've made. I want them to feel the weight of their wrongs. Not just for a moment, but long enough to truly grasp how much damage they've caused. Maybe this is the hardest part of healing for me. Letting go of the idea that they'll ever truly understand or learn from what they've done. But I don't need them to. It's not about me anymore. It's about them and the world they've created for themselves and the reality they'll one day have to confront. It's about the lessons they should have learned years ago, but I hope they'll learn eventually. I hope they'll realize in the harshest of ways that their actions don't exist in a vacuum. That the people they've hurt along the way won't just forget, and that they'll have to live with the knowledge of the pain they caused. I'm not holding on to anger or resentment, though. I don't want to carry that weight. But I do believe in justice, in the idea that people should be accountable for their actions. They shouldn't get off scot-free. They need to see what it feels like to lose something, to regret something, to have to rebuild their own lives from the ground up. Only then will they understand what it's like to be on the receiving end of their destructive behavior. Only then will they truly know what it feels like to face the consequences of their choices. And maybe, just maybe, it will teach them something about empathy, about remorse, and about the value of the people they've hurt. But I know in the end, this isn't something I can control. They're going to live their lives, and I'm going to live mine. The only thing I can control is how I choose to respond to everything they've done. I choose to move forward, to leave them behind, and to focus on building a future that is free from their toxic influence. What they go through in the future is up to them, but my hope remains that they'll finally learn the hard way what it means to be truly accountable for their actions.